All right, we may be back. Luke, are you there?
I am. How's it going? Figure it out.
All right. Well, let's restart things. This is Western Oklahoma Sports Night. I'm Chuck Ramsey, the Lawdog. Sorry for the technical difficulties there in the intro. We are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter X at Lawdog Sports. This will put us a little bit behind, but a big show tonight, Luke, and we've got Tyler Riggs from K101 in Woodward, and he'll be talking about the 101 Classic Bowl, which is just around the corner. And then also we'll visit with Newt Huntley later on in the program from Sooner State Baseball Report as Class 2A through 6A state tournaments for baseball get started tomorrow, and that's going to be exciting, particularly in the 4A, as it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top between Tuttle, Elgin, Mount St. Mary's, and the other teams that are in the state tournament. But you've had a busy week. How have you been doing? I know that previously, before the technical difficulty, you mentioned that you had been at the driving range, and that's always a great thing.
It is. It's a good way to kill some time, get outside, enjoy the beautiful weather, and just relax a little bit after a busy day.
Now, I know, I go to the driving range, and if I go to the driving range, I don't ever, intend on just jumping in and playing. Generally, I don't have time. But do you ever just go ahead and go get a cart and get in some holes or anything like that?
I was close today. I felt kind of good about my swinging and stuff. So I was thinking about it, but I might go tomorrow. I had the predicament, or not a predicament, but plans here.
Well, and there's a lot of scrambles upcoming at Prairie West here in the next 2 months. Is May and June are the charitable scrambles that go on. I know the Weatherford Athletics Hall of Fame will have their scramble coming up in a couple of weeks, and then this morning, I recorded an interview and we put it on the website and online on our YouTube page with Rhonda Smickless, and they'll be out there for the Officials versus Cancer tournament on June 26th, and that's a great one. There benefits the Oklahoma Children's Health Foundation, and she was great to visit with, and you can catch that one online as well. I guess I could go ahead and pull our pictures up there as the technical difficulties continue. But big news today that I saw online, and I saw that you were part of breaking it, and you're going to be a little busier with your sound clips and your sports scheduling as a new school has come into the fold at Wright Media.
Yes, very true. Today we picked up our 7th high school with the Hinton Comets now streaming on Wright.media. That was something that was in the talks for a little while now, and we went over to the school today and broke the news. It was a good time.
That's outstanding. And, when I was doing that job before you stepped in, I always enjoyed Grant Potter was there as the head football coach, and he was really wanting to see us jump in and take over their broadcasts, and it just wasn't the right time at that time, but now he's moved on. But it's going to be fun, and I think the Hinton folks will enjoy the quality of the broadcast. Regardless of what you think about play-by-play announcers, me included, the quality of the broadcast is always good, and you're always able to get on the website and catch the broadcast, and see it without a lot of issues all of the time.
For free on demand are your two biggest things as well. No login required on Wright.media. And like you were saying, I think the Hinton community as well will really enjoy it. Hinton's a very a crowd that'll rally around their sports, and they love their Comets for sure.
And plus, you'll be able to pick a better spot in that dome that they have for basketball. So,
no doubt. I've actually never had to stream in that gym before, so I'm looking forward to it.
I thought you had. I think Max Patton's been there. I think Justin Jefferson's been there with Clinton. But welcome to the Hinton Comet Nation for joining Wright Media, and we appreciate them and always a very supportive community there in Hinton. And it just makes sense to be 20 miles down the road from Weatherford for them to be part of that. And I know that their fan base will appreciate the job that Wright Media will do to bring them their stream. Other big news this week, and it was broken, I guess, on Monday night, as former Clinton head football coach John Higbee accepts a position and was signed off on by the school board on Monday to become the newest assistant at Weatherford High School for their football team. He's going to be the offensive line coach for the Eagles, former Red Tornado coach. And think about this headline: former Red Tornado head coach becomes assistant at Weatherford. That's an interesting take here in May of 2026.
The rivalry is alive and well, is what I said the other day in the station. It should be a very, very exciting and fun Custer County conflict coming up this fall. But kudos to Weatherford for realizing that he was out there and going and getting them.
Yeah. And, here's the thing. Custer County conflict, from what I know of it, of 5 seasons, it's a rivalry. It is heated. It's not something that you see just the pure hatred. That's reserved for Elk City. By both schools. But no, it's just one of those things where it is a heated rivalry, and Clinton has owned the football side of it. But one of the Clinton faithful commented on social media the other night that Weatherford is getting one of the best offensive line coaches you could ever go out and find. So and I believe that. Coach Higbee is one of my favorite coaches to have dealt with as sports director there at Wright Media, and I'm sure you feel the same. He does not give you coach speak. He speaks from the heart. He speaks truth, and if something is something he doesn't like, he will tell you.
Very true. He is not going to beat around the bush or try to hide anything. He's gonna say how it is, definitely. And you mentioned being one of the best offensive line coaches in the state. He's ran the Power Eye at Clinton for the last 7 years, and he's got the stats to back it up, being one of the best offensive line coaches in the state for sure.
Definitely. And then also we learned last night that Coach Carlos Lopez has stepped down from the Weatherford girls soccer head coaching position. 3 seasons there for Coach Lopez, 1 state finals appearance, 1 semifinals appearance, and then this year in the quarterfinals. Great job done by Coach Lopez, one of the true nice guys in the Western Oklahoma coaching landscape, and we appreciate the job he did. I haven't heard anything about circumstances, whys or hows or anything like that, but he texted me, and I know he texted you and let you know, and that's Coach Lopez. He'll be preemptive and be willing to help you do your job. And we already got one chiming in. Red Tornado Marty Wandry, much love to Coach Higbee, but not much for the Eagles. Yeah, Marty, the recipient of a lot of Coach Higbee quotes as the sideline reporter on Red Tornado TV, and I know he had a lot of fun and appreciated the job that Coach Higbee did while he was at Clinton. So, and Marty just our first comment today on Western Oklahoma Sports Night. You can join the conversation as well on the comments on the stream, so please do so. Anything else, Luke? Rocky Willis, all-state finish in 2A golf. Great job by the Sayre Eagle, and Max Patton shared that, as well as Sayre All Sports on Facebook. I got to golf with Rocky back in July. I went to Sayre, and Max Patton, the voice of the Sayre Eagles, had put together a team, and he had Rocky Willis and Wyatt Porter, the play-by-play, and Rocky's ran camera for football and stuff, and he's a great kid. But I'm telling you, Luke, it was so embarrassing to see a kid like that that weighs maybe 125 pounds just pound it down the driveway, and here I am trying to put everything I can into it, and it just doesn't do anything. And it's like, man, it is a young man's game.
Definitely. I've met Rocky a couple times doing Watonga and Sayre football. Always seems like a good kid. So congratulations to Rocky for his finish to his senior year.
He really is, and that is a great finish. I think technically he finished 7th, but I looked at the score. He scored a 228, I think, on 3 days of golf in Class 2A. So
that's me out of the water.
That's pretty stunning right there. I'd probably be in the 6s. So anyway, Max Patton checking out and says good evening. I know he's very proud of Rocky Willis also. And John Matthews, any transfers coming from Kansas to Clinton. Liberal Kansas might have somebody that wants to stay with Coach Powers. You never know. He might have some junior high kids that were at Hooker that maybe moved down there. I don't know. It's we'll see. Max Patton clarifying Rocky Willis was 6th and made All-State. I knew he had made All-State. I thought he was in 7th, but I think I was right about the 228. So anyways, but man, Luke, your job is about to take a different turn as sports is wound down, and there's no more Western Oklahoma sports on Right Media. And to my knowledge, the only team west of Highway 81 that's involved in any sport would be Mangum baseball.
I think you're right. Mangum baseball, and I don't know if that's the 2A1 or
yeah.
Excuse me. I don't know if that's the 2A1 or the 2A2 classes, but they are still in it. Yes.
Yeah. So, all right. So Max clarifies tied to Willis. All right. So, well, I know when I was doing your job summertime, you had to be a little more creative. You had to go digging to some off stories a little bit because you didn't have results and calls and things to use for your sports. One thing that I did try to get some mileage out of was the 101 Bowl, and the 101 Classic Bowl is coming up real soon. So let's go ahead and welcome our guest tonight. He is the voice of the Woodward Boomers and about 15 other teams up in the tri-state area. Riggs, and we need to get you a cough button there, Luke. So anyways, breathed in too much dust out at Prairie West on the driving range. Tyler Riggs, how are you doing, sir?
Oh, Chuck, Luke, guys, it's good. It's crunch time, as you mentioned, for the Classic Bowl. We're having a lot of fun. We're getting ready for it down to the last week or so here, and we just got done with one of the meetings, actually, so we're putting the final touches on the event. I want to add, you were talking about, Clinton there and Coach Powers. That is, I tell you right now, for you Clinton folks that maybe aren't familiar with Coach Powers, what a guy. I mean, we've had him at the Class Bowl. Obviously, he's had a lot of success at Hooker, went up to Liberal. And you mentioned the situation here. Somebody asked about, Kansas Clinton. Interesting there, the quarterback this past year, the sophomore young man for him, was at Hooker, his junior high career, went to Liberal as that quarterback position came open. Coach Powers went up there, and it sounds like that he's going to Tuttle now. So, that's going to be a big get for them. He's a pretty good one. So that's going to shake some things up.
Well, and Luke and I both talked about this previously. We had Coach Powers on with us probably month and a half ago, Luke. Anybody that watched Hooker knew that he could get the most out of a football team because, what is up there to draw from, necessarily talent pool wise. And that's not a slam on Hooker. It's just the numbers. Right. And so I remember him running Thomas off the field in 2022 and just had speed and power and kids that love to play. And that's what you got to have in high school. Wouldn't you say, Luke, is it's not just about having kids that can run and do things, but they got to want to get out there and sacrifice their bodies, sacrifice their, sacrifice other people's bodies. And to me, that's what Coach Powers, I sensed in our interview with him, brought to the table.
I would agree. Coach Powers, I think, is a young guy who knows how to get the most out of his players, get that fiery side out of them. And like you said, you have to want to play wild. You can't be timid. And I think Coach Powers can get that out of them.
And, it's going to be different. And Marty Wandry, might not, he might not know what to do when they line up in a spread formation and not the power I. It's going to be different days than it was with Coach Higbee, but that's football and programs change. Tyler, Liberal Kansas, just one of the 19 schools that you cover up there. K101 and Z92. You guys, I think I've heard you. The only program I think I haven't heard you do play-by-play for might be Texoma Goodwill. I don't know.
And they are a Class Bowl school. We have a wide umbrella. We are so this thing kind of started out obviously immediate Woodward area back in the 80s and 90s, and it just grew, and we reach give or take 90 schools is what it is between Northwest Oklahoma, that's Panhandle included, the Texas Panhandle out to Canadian Perryton. Those communities up north, you mentioned Liberal, Dodge City, part of that as well. Ashland, Kansas, Meade, Buckland, some of those smaller communities. And then, Clinton, Weatherford, Elk City included in that. You go up to Enid, out to Watauga, Kingfisher as well. So Cashin, Okarchi, you could go down the list. It's a pretty good spread. So, I may not do play-by-play for all those teams, but I definitely am charged with keeping up with them. You mentioned Rocky. We talked about him this week, with his great golf finish and a lot of those other kids. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot, but it keeps you going.
Did you guys broadcast any of the Sealing state title games?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. We were there for that. On that one, of course, we were following Fairview girls down the stretch in terms of basketball. This past year, what a fun bunch that was. Hammond, Sealing, obviously a big part of that, as you mentioned. So those kind of more immediate area schools, not that they get, preference, but obviously being kind of the more OG schools, we really love to follow them. Laverne, obviously a big part of that as well over the last few years with their success.
Shattuck having a big run over the last 25 years in football, and Lord knows there's many of former Shattuck coaches that end up other places a lot of times, but it's just always a lot of fun. But looking at the Facebook page, and if you want to follow what's going on, it's 101 Classic Bowl on Facebook, and it gives you the events and the names and everything of participants that are going to be in it. And I tell you, it's really, what year are they on now? 38?
We are on 38, First Class Bowl 1989. Started with just the football game, and since then has expanded over the years to basketball, boys and girls. And then on top of that, was about a couple of years into my tenure here at K101, we decided to add softball, baseball, and golf. Obviously, those are no-brainer sports. A lot of great talent in all three of those sports here. And we had the facilities, the committee felt like there's facilities enough here in the area to do that and pull it off. And then, of course, you factor in band, cheerleading, all that. We roughly bring in about 1,000 kids each year for this event across all those sports, all those activities. And, man, it's grown from one game to a full week of events, which is crazy.
And I think 500 of those 1,000 are on the basketball rosters.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's been a strong year in terms of basketball. I go over the numbers a little bit for you because we've been tallying up. Of course, we published the initial rosters, which you'll see on that Facebook page that you're talking about. And, guys, kids are on vacation. Some kids are hurt. Some kids, whatever, may not be able to make it. We maybe pick up a kid as a replacement for that. But as far as numbers go this year, we're sitting at 71 football players, about 35 or so on each the east and west there. 63 girls basketball players, bit of a heavy number this year for that. 59 boys basketball players. We got 49 softball players committed and 54 baseball players. And then as far as golfers go, 32 there. That's a 16-16 split. Boys and girls didn't intend it to be that way, but worked out. And all those sports, those are all seniors with the exception of golf. We do allow juniors in that as well. Kind of keep the numbers a bit more consistent. As you know, golf program numbers can kind of fluctuate here and there throughout the region.
Okay. Looking at the list,
Tyler,
Luke. Go ahead, Luke. Go ahead,
when
buddy.
does you bring in 1,000 athletes? I would imagine the process of naming all those athletes has to start pretty early.
Yeah, and we try to essentially send out nomination forms to all the coaches out there as the seasons come to end. Football, it's December. Basketball, about the time playoff starts there, we get those nomination forms out. Softball kind of goes out with football, so to speak, and so on and so forth. And with that process, one thing we do promise to all of our classical schools is that, hey, if you send back a kid, you send back at least one nomination, we will get that kid in. It's an all-star game, but we want to be inclusive of the area as much as we can, right? So, a kid may have been dealt a tough hand. Their program's not great right now for whatever reason. They've, worked hard for 4 years, and we want to recognize that and honor that. And then, you get into the process of having to pare down some teams, right? Especially football, basketball, baseball we've had to do in years past where you just get a high number. And it never feels good to say, hey, this kid doesn't make it. But at the end of the day, when we meet that promise and then try to also include the best of the best, it could be a challenge, but it comes together each year, and it's a lot of fun.
Very impressed that my former neighbors in Thomas made it. Ty Littlebird, the quarterback for the Terriers, and then also Warren Comet Siva on the list, tight end and linebacker. Ty is a quarterback and safety. So Thomas, and there might be another one on there as well. Maybe y'all had to split them, but So anyways, just good to see some of the names that Luke and I are used to seeing on there, because it's out of our listening area for the most part, but we interact with you enough and fellowship with you guys a lot, so it's a lot of fun to keep up with that. But the football is a huge deal, but also there's a big parade on Saturdays, isn't there?
That it is. And of course I mentioned, cheerleading, band, and all that. That is where, those groups really shine, that parade that afternoon before the football game. And I've got the cheer numbers here. Mackenzie should go to, she's the cheer coach over at Southwestern Oklahoma State. She runs the Class Bowl cheer side of things for us and does a really fantastic job with that. And guys, she's got 353 total cheerleaders, instructors, and honor cheerleaders this year with that. So, and then band numbers wise, we send those kids up to Alva to Northwestern Oklahoma State, house them for a few days before bringing them back to Woodward. Yeah. And I mean, that is just squad upon squad upon squad. And of course, you're going to see a lot of them cheer and perform there for the football games. So they definitely make up a huge chunk of that. And it's special to see. I mean, goodness, the number of schools, the number of kids that you get involved each year. It's really amazing. And those connections. I mean, we had a funny story real quick from our meeting. Our band folks let us know that somehow, some way, 2 kids from Midwest City got the link to apply for the band deal because their friends had told them, hey, this is a great free band camp. You should check it out.
Yeah.
You didn't understand, we got just a limited number of schools. So word travels fast on that for sure.
Well, and I think the Millwood and Douglas coaches are trying to glean some players from the 101 Bowl to come down there. No, kidding.
Hey, with the way they're going, man.
Yeah, the transfer portal is open. Well, and real quick, Tyler, as we start to wind this down, tell us the dates of everything for the 101 Bowl.
So this year we have moved softball we had played it on Wednesday, tried to play on Wednesday last year, got rained out. Had to play a week later, so we decided to move that to Sunday, May 24th. That's when we'll begin things there, just after church, if you will, about 2 o'clock. Doubleheader at the Woodward softball field, and then we'll transition that into baseball Monday, Memorial Day. Baseball kind of goes together. We've done that for a while now. Doubleheader at Fuller Park that afternoon to be able to get that going. And then we have girls basketball set for Tuesday night at Boomer Fieldhouse, 6:30, 8 o'clock, doubleheader there as well. Take a little break on Wednesday, kind of get the football guys in. That's welcome dinner. Then we go to boys basketball on Thursday. That'd be the 28th of May. Again, 6:38 doubleheader. Friday, we do our awards banquet out at the conference center here in Woodward for football. Get the teams out there, treat them to dinner, announce those awards. Public, get a ticket to that. And of course, as you mentioned, Saturday, the big parade that afternoon at 1:30 down Main Street, and it all culminates with that football game at 7 o'clock. This year will be on May 30th.
That's outstanding. And, really with a lot of, the main all-state games going on, it to me, it's cool that there's a regional deal for something like the 101 Bowl, and you still have all the pageantry and stuff like that. And I'm sure it means a lot to these kids that get to sign up and play.
Well, a few years back had, of course, you remember Cade Manuel, I'm sure, out of Sealand.
Yeah.
Coach Manuel's kid. He came to this event for football guys, and I mean, you want to talk about performance. I think he went for about 450 yards in this game. Coach Cameron Condor, was coaching there, former Enid, now at Chisholm, and they lit it up, most points scored. And we talked to him after game. He said, I remember being a kid watching, his peers, the other Sealand kids in the stands. He said, I've been dreaming to be a part of this game. This is a guy that's a state champion. And so in these communities, it is absolutely huge. And I mean, we're on the point now, getting close to 40. We've had a father play, a son play, mom, daughter. We're getting close, guys, to having 3 generations play in the game. We've had 3 generations either play or coach, but yeah, it's really incredible in that sense. And the big deal with it, you mentioned the other all-star games. We are an all-star game where a kid could come to this event, not have $1 in their pocket, and they'll be taken care of. And that's, obviously a lot of great community support, Woodward surrounding areas, helping take care of that. And, even kids that are injured, right? Blake Puffenbarger, lady, fantastic athlete. She's not going to be able to play because she's going to have a surgery, but she's going to still come, enjoy the event, get her jersey and all that. Other all-star games, I understand sometimes can be, hey, if you can't play, you're not coming.
Yeah.
We're not that way. We want to truly celebrate all these kids. And you give out $2,000 scholarships at the end of the week as well. We are adding this year, Chuck, you'll appreciate this, a multimedia scholarship in honor of the – yes, in honor of the late –
we need Luke will tell you, we need play-by-play. He's got on the roster now.
And I have to go back and look. I think we got two gentlemen, one in football, one in boys basketball. I looked at their bios, said they are going to college to try to become a sports broadcaster. So
they need to get started, and they can get started while in college. You don't have to wait to graduate either. Luke was doing you were doing sideline reporting and Watonga while you were still in school, right?
Yeah, I was sideline reporting for my school while before I graduated. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, very awesome.
And
very awesome.
The streaming stuff is really coming on. And I tell you, I'm back here in the OKC metro area, and I'm surprised at the complaints about some of the quality of the broadcasts on some of the other apps, and then also some of the play-by-play and larger or wealthy schools and stuff. Really. Some of the parents not really happy. So, there's gigs out there for kids that want to do some broadcasting for sure. But Tyler, man, it's going to be a lot of fun. Will there be any streaming of the 101 Classic Bowl?
Yes. Our gentleman, Eric Scott, he's with Sealing Public Schools, formerly Woodward. I think you might have met him, the travels. He's with me a year or two on our broadcast. Yeah. But he's heading up Wildcat TV over there on the Squirrel side. He's going to handle leading that production streaming-wise this year. We've added – I mentioned the multimedia scholarship we're adding. On top of that, we're doing a social media team this year that kids from the area going to do, Facebook, some of that stuff, join on the stream. So they're going to head all that up, and we're excited for that all through the week. Softball, baseball, golf. I did forget to mention golf. That'll be Tuesday morning over at Boylan Springs Golf Club. Tee time at 9 there, and they'll play the tournament through it. But
Luke, we need to plan a road trip to Boiling Springs sometime.
Say when. I'll be there.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys were talking about working on your game. I've been working on my game, Chuck.
Have you really? Okay.
I busted out the clubs about a month and a half ago after not golfing for a long time. Obviously, I sucked. I could barely hit it 200 yards on the drive.
That's
but
awesome.
I treated myself with a new driver yesterday. I found on Facebook Marketplace. It's Callaway. So obviously, I'm now going to be bombing at 350 yards. So
there you go, Tiger.
That's the secret.
Get on it, Tiger. I'll say this for football: 2 names I'm going to throw out that people need to watch out for: Darren Hester from the Clinton Red Tornadoes, and Tucker Garza. And Tucker's just one of those guys, and from calling Woodward, and I'm sure Luke's talked to Coach Maynard over at Elk City. Tucker's just one of those guys that he's just going to go out and make hits and make plays. So I would be interested to see, the intensity that he brings to the 101 Classic Bowl.
Oh, we got a few guys like that this year, Chuck. And you mentioned, your Thomas Fake Custer guys, Warren and Ty. I'm excited to see Ty. I don't think a lot of people in the area realize how quality of a player he is. Obviously you've gotten to see him. I mean, that's a kid that you want to talk about putting it all out there, man.
Oh, sure.
Good grief. Yeah. So,
and Warren should be good. Warren's a big hitter. He's quiet as a mouse, but he's a big hitter in the linebacker core. But then just going down the list, there's so much. And then also on the basketball side, some Weatherford Eagles on the basketball side. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And I know Luke and I will be keeping up with you on your social media and through y'all's broadcast, whatever you end up doing. But, man, Tyler, it's always good to catch up with you. Let's do it again sometime when we start looking to preview football.
Sounds like a plan, Chuck. Luke, guys, thank you for having me on. You all have a great night.
Yes,
appreciate
sir, you
it. Tyler Riggs from K101 in Woodward and Z92 does a great job up there. He calls a lot of different teams, Luke, and does football and basketball and then some baseball. But, I mean, he could get sent to Fargo Gage, Fort Supply, or just about anywhere. In the Northwest. So
sounds like a busy guy. Sure.
Yeah, they have a large coverage area, but a lot of fun in the 101 Classic Bowl. We'll share their posts as well on Lawdog Sports and Western Oklahoma Sports Night. Luke, we have a Facebook page now. I've just got to get the StreamYard tuned in to send the live stream to it, but it is Western Oklahoma Sports Night with Chuck Ramsey and Luke Clement. So we are on there.
Awesome. There we go. I did not know that. I saw that you posted the logo. I saw the logo on Facebook the other day, but I did not realize it was attached to a profile.
And I will freely admit that page has been about 10 different things over the past 15 years. So if you see a post about Hank Thompson and the Brazos Valley Boys or some classic country in Texas, that was from a previous rendition. Well, let's go ahead and welcome our next guest. And we've got a lot of stuff to get into tonight. But this guy, I tell you, Luke, you talk about a resource for you and I as sports people. Sooner State Baseball Report on social media, the work that they do and the coverage they have has just really been a godsend over the past several years. And I know I utilized it a lot. I would imagine you do as well.
I enjoy their rankings, and especially during tournament season in high school baseball. They do a really good job of putting all the brackets on there and listing the games and giving you a little preview and a little bit of what to expect in those tournaments. They do a good job.
Well, let's go ahead and bring in the brainiac who came up with the concept and who puts in the legwork. He's a huge Cubs fan, which him and my partner Jeremy Schroeder on the Weekend Big Show love to get together and talk Cubs baseball. But he is Newt Huntley, and he is the head honcho there at Sooner State Baseball Report. Newt, how are you doing, sir? Can't hear us. Okay. We'll go ahead and give him just a minute to get connected. But Luke, we don't have any Western Oklahoma teams, as I mentioned, in the state baseball tournaments, 2A through 6A that gets going. Our 4A squads fell out in regionals. But it's interesting because, and we'll ask Newt when we get him on, particularly I'm interested with the 4A, obviously, because it's Elgin, Mount St. Mary's, and Tuttle, teams that Weatherford, Clinton, and Elk City have all faced. Elgin just with an amazing run, and then Mount St. Mary's kind of out of nowhere. To me, they've been solid, but this year they were pretty much dominant at times. And then Tuttle, and honestly, if you ask me to pick Tuttle or the field, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to go with Tuttle.
Yeah, probably. Growing up, I played Tuttle and was around it. I experienced Tuttle's dominance firsthand, and then have gotten to call them several times in the position that I'm in now. So Coach Draper has a really, really good squad, and he knows how to get them going for sure.
If you had to say, and being that you were raised in proximity around there, what would you say it is that Tuttle does that other programs are not doing, or maybe something that they have that what is it that gets them to that point so much?
I think it stretches farther than just Tuttle baseball. I think it's Tuttle athletics as a whole. Every program that they have is just storied with tradition and championships, and those kids grow up breathing that, and that's what they want to continue, and they continue it right on. They have no trouble doing it.
It's pretty stunning, and I know one consistent thing from calling games, particularly for Weatherford, but Tuttle always comes out to the I-40 Classic, is they're going to put pressure on the base paths. I mean, if they get on, they're looking to steal. They're looking to get on. Newt, if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. He must not be able to hear me. We were hearing him earlier, so maybe we're trying to get them to get him some audio going here. So anyways, if we whatever we need to do to assist him to do so. But like I said, Newt Huntley from Sooner State Baseball Report ready to check in with us. But yeah, and there's been years where I don't think Tuttle was even the favorite going into the tournament, Luke, and they've come away with a trophy.
I think it's just their culture. They get there, they've been there, they know what to expect. They're never caught off guard. There's not very many scenarios that they haven't ran into during the season's length because how tough of a schedule they play. So no, Tuttle is always a team that you need to think about come state tournament time.
For sure. Maybe still having some issues with Newt's audio. Are you hearing us, Newt, at all? He's not hearing us. So we were hearing him earlier, and I tell you what, I can call you on a Google on our studio line if I need to get you on here, because not sure why the audio. Let me see if there's something
might be muted.
Well, he muted it, so but he's not hearing us, I don't think.
I can hear Luke, but I can't hear Chuck.
You hear Luke, but you don't. We had that issue before with Justin Jefferson. Let me do something here. How about now, Newt? Are you hearing me now? Nope, not hearing me. All right, Luke, if you got a question for Newt, go right ahead, and we'll try to carry this on.
I was wanting to ask you about Tuttle growing up, and can you hear me, Newt?
Not. I guess he's not hearing you either, Luke. So, okay, he's going to probably tap back in, but I'm trying to pull up the brackets for Class 4A because I think also Lone Grove got in, and they are the team who eliminated Weatherford. But they finished second in their district behind Elgin. But did get a win over the Owls, but Elgin just with a squad this season as well. So there are some really heavy hitters in Class 4A.
It seems like 4A is always a very competitive class with Tuttle, Blanchard, Newcastle used to be in 4A. They used to be a very tough team. Chickasha was a good squad this year, and Elk City, they've kind of didn't have an Elk City quality year. I'm sure that they would say that. But no, I would agree. 4A always seemed like a tough class.
So tomorrow at 11, it will be Tuttle taking on Lone Grove. Then at 1:30, it'll be, and these are all at Noble, which I know Newt Huntley had said that that's right kind of in his backyard. So he's going to be there covering them. Tuttle versus Lone Grove, Blanchard versus Salisaw, Mount St. Mary's versus Verdigris, and Berry Hill versus Elgin. So I haven't kept on in full transparency, Luke. Salisaw, Verdigris, and Berry Hill, I couldn't tell you whether they're going to come in and compete or not. But we might have Newt here with us. Newt, can you hear us now?
I think I can.
Hey.
All right.
Okay.
When all else fails, restart it, right?
Yeah, that is right. So you're a little hot, so I'm going to just turn you down just a tad bit. Let's see here. There we go. Look, Newt, you run Sooner State Baseball Report, and we appreciate you taking time, and I know it's a busy, busy time for you, so you don't know how much I value you taking this time to come on with us, but I figured the night before state baseball tournaments, what better time to give you a platform?
No, I appreciate it, Chuck. Thanks for having me on. I really do appreciate it. Luke, good to meet you.
It's good to meet you too, Newt.
Luke is the sports director at Wright Media in Weatherford and covers Clinton, and just took on Hinton today. So he'll have another school taking on the 7 that they have there. But we were talking, and Luke, you grew up in Minco, and so you were right in Tuttle's back porch step. We were talking.
Tuttle was in our back porch step.
Okay. Yeah. Want to clarify.
Yeah.
We were talking, and I made the mention that in Class 4A, if you gave me Tuttle or the field, 9 times out of 10, I'm just going to take Tuttle.
That's probably a really good bet, but 4A is as good as Tuttle is, and I'm not taking anything away from them. 4A is probably the most stacked class this year as far as elite teams up in there, and I think they've got 8 really, really good baseball teams, and you can't forget Elgin. Elgin was the state runner-up in 5A last year, dropped down to 4A this year, and didn't look any different. I mean, they're just as good, and they've got a lot of really good players there, and so Tuttle, probably is the favorite going into this, but it's not as big of a favorite as you probably think. Now, let's not just take anything away from the Tigers. I don't want anybody in Tuttle to get mad at me or anything like that. No. I'm just saying, you've got Elgin out there. And Tuttle has a really tough first game in Lone Grove. Lone Grove is a team that's beat some really good teams this year. They got a really tough path to get to that state championship this year for Tuttle.
I knew that the Longhorns were good when Weatherford went down there to face them. I was really happy. It sucked that Weatherford got eliminated in regionals, but they weren't blowout games. They
Yeah.
were right. And, so just amazing that, to me, you had Weatherford and Elk City. Clinton's had their times when they've been really competitive, but Weatherford and Elk City, other than when Elk had Cash Mayfield, who was a first-round draft pick, they're just not really cracking into that upper echelon of Class 4A.
Yeah, I know it's really tough. I mean, like I said, the Elk City was really young this year coming into the season. The coach in our season preview, I can't remember his name. I apologize, but he did say that we're really young. We're going to take our lumps this year. They did win some good ball games, but at the same time, they lost some games they probably shouldn't. That you wouldn't expect them to lose, but they'll be back. Elk City will be back in a year or two. So,
Weatherford got their first wins over Elk City since the time I started with Weatherford in 2022. I mean, they had been swept in district by the Elks until this season. So, just a great time. But like you said, Class 4A and talk. You're in the Metro. Talk about the Mount St. Mary's Rockets, because they took over. The district with Elk City and Weatherford and Clinton just really dominated in a fashion. What is it that they've done, with the Rockets that has made them put them in this position?
Well, they've been building to this point for the last couple of years. Their ace, Parker Hayes, probably might be the best left-handed pitcher in the state, regardless of class. I actually know the kid personally. I coached his older brother. His older brother was same age as my boys, and I coached him a little bit in middle school and in some travel ball in high school. So I've known Parker and their family for a long time. He's really, really good, and he's able. I think he threw a no-hitter against Weatherford earlier in the year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he did.
And their number 2, Will Grayson, is really, really good as well. I mean, they've got a great, maybe one of the top 2 pitcher as far as the 1-2 punch. Relative to your class, and so that's what makes them dangerous. And they went to the state tournament 2 years ago, and beat Lone Grove in the first round. And Parker Hayes threw that game. So they've got the experience. The problem was what they've been trying is get the offense to catch up, and the offense has caught up some this year. So they're legit, and obviously the number 3 ranking coming in the state. Early in the season, they but they run Rule Tuttle, like the 3rd week of the season. So they know what it takes to win, and they're a team to look out for. So,
yeah, Luke, you got anything for?
Yeah, fill us in on Salisaw and Berry Hill and some of those schools on the eastern side of the state that we might not see all the time.
Yeah, Salisaw is a school about as far away they can get from you guys.
Right.
They get a little farther as rolling maybe, but no, Salisaw they had the longest. Do what?
Clinton soccer just went there last night. Luke,
oh yeah,
we didn't have to make the trip, but we had to watch it online. It was great.
Wow.
It is a long haul, Salisaw.
That is a long trip, but Salisaw is the team that had the longest winning streak to start the season. I think they went 23, 24 games to start the season with wins, and they are a legit team. I cannot. They have an ace. I cannot remember his name, to be honest with you right now. That has been mowing people down most of the year. I don't think they're going to blow teams away, but they're good enough to compete with just about anybody. That first round matchup against Blanchard is going to be really, really good. Berry Hill is a team that's sneaky good. In my previews, I was kind of looking at going through that I posted on our website today. I was going through their schedule, and they've got a really good record. They've played a couple of these state teams. They've got a pretty good record with them. You can tell they're trying to get that experience of playing those top level teams. But yeah, Berry Hill, there is not one team in the 4A bracket that you can say, well, they're not going to win. They all have legitimate chances to win their first round game and to win a couple games in this tournament.
And also, Newt, what's amazing is some of them have such recent history. I mean, Blanchard has a state title, Tuttle has a state title. It's just it is a murderer's row to get through the 4A brackets.
Yeah, I mean Blanchard won it all last year. We had them ranked number 1 at the end of the season in our final rankings. Our final ranking is a little bit different. We do it as a how good you are relative to your class. So yeah, 6A teams are going to most likely beat the lower class teams day in and day out. But Blanchard in the season like on a 30-game win streak last year, but they lost a lot of their guys. But kudos to them for getting back to the state tournament this year. And it's a young team, and if you're going to get them, you're going to get them out early this year. I mean, this is the year to do it. So
you mentioned that you go ahead, Luke.
What would you say do you prefer covering the bigger classes in high school baseball, or do you like doing the smaller stuff?
I don't. My boys went to Norman High. I live in Norman. My boys went to Norman High, so I'm more used to seeing the 6A schools. And yeah, the depth of talent in 6A and the largest school. I mean, it's deeper. I mean, the depth of talent, the pool is deeper. But there's just something about the smaller schools, and not to say that the 6A schools, even the 5A schools, don't have the community support that the smaller schools have. But there's just something about seeing a small town really rally behind their school, their team, their boys, so to speak. I mean, they see these kids, and a lot of these kids grow up in smaller schools, grow up playing together. It's not just they get together as a freshman or even in junior high or whatever. They start from T-ball, and so there's a lot more, I don't know, connection that the communities and the teams have with each other. So, I mean, I like to just watch good baseball in general. It doesn't really matter the size of the class, but there is something about seeing the smaller classes, even the middle classes. I think when I say large classes, I think 5A, 6A, middle classes, 3A, 4A, small classes, 2A and below. So there is something to see those smaller classes, the mid classes, get together and play each other and have that really a deep sense of community passion behind them.
Well, and I'm looking at the website, SoonerStateBaseballReport.com, and you do have, as you mentioned, those previews up there. Tournament starts tomorrow. Who do you like in 6A?
Oh, wow. I knew you were going to ask me that today, and I've been racking my brain. I try not to really, high school, there's a part of me that's like, I don't want to say I'm going to pick this team or that team to put pressure on them because they're still kids. But I don't know. 6A has been a crapshoot this year, man. I mean, the two teams that, if you ask me the two teams that are going to definitely make the state tournament this year, before the season, who are they? They're not there. That's Edmond Memorial and Owasso. Owasso was a state runner-up last year, won like 35 games, returning just about everybody, but they struggled out of the gate. They got their footing a little bit, and they ended up getting back to where they were a regional host, and then they lost their regional. And so Bixby went in, and then you've got teams like Bixby who is young and inexperienced, but obviously they're talented and they caught hot at the right time. And you've got teams in the 6A bracket that you've got like 3 or 4 district champions, but you also got like you've got a couple third place district finishers and a fourth place district. And you got Sapulpa was finished 5th in their district. So that's like a microcosm of the season for 6A. But if I had to narrow it down, I would say the two teams that have played the most consistently during the season is UConn and Mustang. They're on opposite sides of the bracket. Now, UConn will have to play Edmond Santa Fe. They haven't been as consistent. If you look at the teams that they played that are in the state tournament, I think they're like 6-1 against those teams. So I think it's between UConn and Mustang, but I don't be surprised if Edmond Santa Fe is able to repeat as state champs again.
Yeah, and real quick, another question about it is, I mean, you look at the size of the schools that are involved when you're throwing Sapulpa out there, or compared to a Bixby. Is there a chance that 6A could be split in baseball like it has been in football?
Gosh, I hope not. I really hope not. Because 6A, you have some of those schools that like that, but you also have several schools in baseball, and this is not a knock on them, but you've got like Northwest Classen, you've got U.S. Grant, you've got Capitol Hill, these metro schools that really don't have the backing for baseball, but they still have that.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, they're automatic wins. And so I think that would really hurt the depth. I get why they split 2A and A going into last year, but we've already got 9 state champions in the sport of baseball in the spring. That's enough.
Yeah. Well, and real quick, as we'll start to kind of work towards maybe going over even a little D2 college baseball. In Class 2A2, I believe it is, the only team that's even within, I mean, Calumet won Class B, which they are at the, wouldn't you say, Luke, they're at the far end of our range, kind of stretching east from Weatherford. But also Mangum is not in our network, but they're what I'm looking at as far as like sports that Luke has covered and I used to is basically anybody west of Highway 81. Mangum's kind of it. So,
yeah.
They take on Oklahoma Christian Academy tomorrow at Prague. The Tigers, I know we cover Sayre Eagles baseball. They made a run. Had to travel quite a bit. I think they ended up in Tushka. Was it Luke or
Tushka or Wynnewood? I can't remember now.
Maybe Wright City, somewhere like that. But talk about any of those teams. Mangum is the team from Western Oklahoma that's still in that. And have you been able to catch much of what makes them help them make the state qualifications?
I'm sorry, Chuck. I don't. I don't really know anything about Mangum too much. I can tell you a little bit about Preston. I can tell you a little bit about OCA.
Yeah.
And a little bit about Tushka. And honestly, that's because those teams play fall baseball, so I'm able to get familiar with them during the fall.
Definitely. And kudos to Mangum because they don't play fall baseball. And how many times we've seen, I know Luke has dealt with it with Watonga, living in Thomas. It's hard for the teams that have football to really make hay in the lower classes for baseball in the spring. So kudos to Mangum. Real quick exit question, 5A. I mean, well, not an exit question. Last state tournament question. 5A, Carl Albert, are they kind of the heads-on favorite in that one, or do you see somebody else that maybe could give them a run?
I don't really know if there's a true favorite in 5A as well. Carl Albert has been kind of, for their standards, up and down this year. They've lost some games. There have been teams in 5A that have looked really good for a while. I think the team that's been the most consistent playing really good baseball in 5A this year is Newcastle. And it's interesting. Them and Elgin seem like they flipped. Elgin went from 5A to 4A, and Newcastle went from 4A to 5A. But Newcastle, they have I need to write people's names down when I put on the spot. But they have a really good pitcher, and then they've got an offense that can hit. And so I know I saw them. I didn't see them play this year, but did see them play in person last year. A lot of the same guys, really good, just a really, really solid team that is not going to be afraid at the moment. And again, they've been a really good they've been a solid program for a while, but they've been building to this up these last couple of years, and they made the 4A state tournament last year. And I would, if you may pin me down to pick somebody in 5A, it would be Newcastle or Carl Albert, and I wouldn't leave out Bishop Kelly as well.
Sure. Well, and that will be a lot of fun, and that's going to be up in the Tulsa area at Owasso. Yeah. The championship will be at One Oak. So what a fun setting that would be. Where are you going to be tomorrow for your coverage?
Tomorrow, well, we got 3A. What was it? 3A's at Norman North and 4A's at Noble. Because I know, going back to Mount St. Mary, because I know Parker Hayes personally and his family, I am going to go check, and they get word that he is going to get the start on the bump, that I am going to go check him out. And that's like the third game of the day over there. So I have not decided if I'm going to start at Noble and stay there, or start at Norman North and then go over. But I may go just spend the day at Noble for the 4A part, and then go tomorrow to the semis and the 3A and Norman North. But I will be at the Shawnee High on Saturday for They got 4 state championship games on Friday with the 2A schools, 3A and 4A. That's going to be a long day, but it's going to be fun.
That will be. How many hours you putting in a day right now?
I don't want to say because I'm technically still supposed to have my 9 to 5, and if I say how many hours I'm doing, they might realize like I'm not putting all my time towards them like I should. So
we're not that far removed from March Madness. Your company, I'm sure, realized how much production was lost during that. So
yeah,
baseball is the same thing. It's just May Madness. Luke, you got anything else for Newt?
I was going to ask, what do you think it is with that stretch of Highway 37? You were mentioning Newcastle and 5A, and then you have Blanchard and Tuttle, and they are just always competitive.
Well, if you look at it, they're competitive in just about everything as well.
100%.
You know, I mean, I'm not just a baseball fan. I like all sports, and the run that Tuttle Wrestling is on right now is just incredible.
Yeah.
But those other 2 programs are really solid as well. So, you know, I can't explain it. I mean, it's just, I think it's part of their culture. Really, I think it's part of their community, and you know, that's just what you do in the Tri-Cities area. Then that's how you go about your business, and you know, those kids. And the thing about it is that I think you see a lot of those kids play more than one sport as well, which I think is really, really cool. Unless the kid just doesn't want to play other sports, you should not specialize. But you know, to see those kids and it's not just, I mean, there's some elite talent coming out of those areas as well. I mean, all the way back to, you know, I can think of the first person name that comes to mind out of Tuttle, Jason White. But you know, so it's interesting. It's fun to watch. But they definitely take it serious over there.
Well, I want to ask you a question real quick. You talked about specialization. Are kids that play football and basketball, are they able to get caught up enough if they don't play in the fall? Are they able to get caught up enough with enough batting practice and stuff to really get in the swing for a spring baseball season? Is it just their natural God-given talent? Is it the extra work that small school players get? What would you contribute?
I think it depends on the player. You know, going back, my boys were very fortunate. They were teammates with Cade Horton at Norman High. And I don't know if you remember this, Cade Horton was a really good high school quarterback in football. I mean, he was really, really good. He could sling that ball and run. I mean, everything. But now I say that my boys were teammates. They were 2 years behind Cade. And but when they were freshmen, and even before that, I mean, at the time, the coach at the time allowed us to go in there and get extra work in. Cade would come over after football practice, and work on baseball. He'd get in the cage and start and swing. And so it wasn't like he started from nothing when football was over and came over to baseball. So I think it depends on the kid. I mean, I get what you're saying. I understand there's that argument out there about the small schools that get to play in the fall and the advantage that they have in the spring. But I think it goes back to the culture. It goes back to the kids and what they do. So, you know, there are kids obviously at that age that just have that God-given talent. They can just walk in there and just pick it right up. But don't undersell how much work goes in, how much work these athletes play these days, even if they play multiple sports. They work on their craft in other sports year round.
Yeah, and I know that a lot of guys go get swings and stuff, you know, even during basketball season and whatever they may be playing. But I just wondered, even at schools that don't have fall baseball, if kids that focus solely on baseball have a little bit of an advantage than the kids on the other sports. But hey, if you're playing multiple sports, and you probably are a pretty special athlete as well.
Yeah.
So got that. Well, I tell you, we started to get into some D2 talk with you, but we may be running a little bit short here, and I know we've kept you a while, but man, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be keeping up with you online and social media. Sooner State Baseball Report, we share their items on our pages. I know, you know, the scores and all of the box scores and things like that just are so great to have at our disposal. It's really what Oklahoma baseball should be like. You've got a sponsor for the webpage now. Are you at liberty to kind of discuss that?
Sure. We've actually got two, the Surf Bar, and I don't know if you guys have seen them out in your neck of the woods. I know they have a truck that goes out there in the west part of the United States, or west part of the state.
Yeah.
So they're out there. They serve those. I can't ever say that word, but those nutritious bowls with the berries and all that kind of stuff. Acai, yeah. But they have several spots here in the metro, in the Oakland City metro area as well, and they've been really good at sponsoring our rankings this year. And then Chris Lippard Chris Cameron of Lippard Real Estate and Auction. He's been with me, been with us doing it since last fall with the games of the week. But yeah, thank you for mentioning this. And real quick, not to steal your thunder, but I just got to give a shout out right now. MACU, Mid-America Christian University, just late this afternoon, won their regional in Shreveport, beat the defending champions 2 times in their 3 games, went 3-0 down there, and they qualified for their first ever NAIA World Series today. And it was just their 3rd trip ever to the NAIA National Tournament, 3rd in 3 years. What Brett Stanton, the head coach over there, has done since he's been there has been incredible. And so,
well, they're getting a 6'9" starting pitcher from Weatherford next season. Grayson Dunn is going to be at. Are they the Evangels?
The Evangels, yes.
Yeah, he's going to be an Evangel next year. Grayson Dunn,
Yeah.
6'9" starting pitcher for the Weatherford Eagles, and he's going. I hope love to see him furthering his career on a college level. But yeah, congratulations to MACU. I think isn't Seminole in the NJCAA playoffs as well?
Seminole State is playing. I think it's St. Charles Community College starting tomorrow in their district championship. It's a 2 out of 3 series in Division One, and then NOC Enid is playing a team out of Arizona starting tomorrow. That's 2 out of 3 in their district championship. Winners of those series move on to their respective World Series.
Wow, that's a lot of baseball going on. So,
and then don't forget, Rogers State hosts their regional in Division Two starting tomorrow as well.
Well, the MIAA can bite me. So no. Luke, do we even have any idea who in the GAC is still in the baseball playoffs?
I don't think anybody.
Nobody is.
ECU
ECU had an incredible run. They qualified for their conference tournament the first time in forever, it seemed like, and like a team who hadn't won even 10 games in the last 10 years or something like that. I mean, I don't know if it was that long, but pretty far back. They got in their conference tournament, went far, and made it to their championship series, but got beat out.
They brought in the Shawnee head coach.
Yes,
a couple of years ago. Yeah, and one of his assistants, Landon Lord, is the son of one of my district partners when I was a patrolman on the south side in Oklahoma City. So
okay.
And so I've been keeping up with ECU a little bit more.
Yeah.
With Landon there, and then also his sister Kennedy Lord is on the Tigers softball squad. So all kinds of great baseball, softball, diamond sports are prolific in the state of Oklahoma. And if you want to be able to keep up with those, be sure and check out SoonerStateBaseballReport.com. Also follow them on they're on Twitter and Facebook. I know you might be on Instagram as well, but I mean
on all of them.
Okay,
yep,
so you're
on all of them.
And
yes,
we
sir.
share your stuff, so be sure and follow us as well so you can tell. Newt Huntley, thank you so much for taking time. And, buddy, you're welcome to come on Friday morning on the Weekend Big Show. We'd love to talk some OU, OSU with you, and then also some Cubs. But if you end up being too busy and you call and say, Chuck, I'm just not going to be able to get in, I will totally understand. So
no, I'll be fine. 9 o'clock will be the perfect time. Right before you head out.
And we would love to have you on the Weekend Big Show. So look forward to that on Friday morning. Newt, take care of yourself. Don't put on plenty of sunscreen tomorrow out at the ballparks.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right. He is Newt Huntley from the Sooner State Baseball Report. And an amazing job they do, Luke. And I tell you, I mean, as a sports director, you hate to admit that you cheat off of somebody else's website, but man, when they've got the ball rolling like that and you can pull scores from them, and because a lot of coaches just kind of don't really, they may get to OSSAA rankings the next day or something. They're tired from a trip or something. Sooner State Baseball Report bailed me out a lot.
Sooner State Baseball Report, great job. Stats. It's hard to get stats a lot of the time if you don't have a game changer or something like that. And they do a good job of getting stats. And at least something to talk about for the sportscast for sure.
And even, and you can definitely get box scores and stuff, on Game Changer, but even with Game Changer, for play-by-play, I couldn't tell you when a kid for Weatherford was coming up to bat what he was batting on the season, because you have to be a family member of one kid to be able to get that off a Game Changer. So, that's something that I know Newt works around, and they just do an amazing job. And I'm going to have to try one of those bowls that he was talking about, because I noticed online that they've been sponsored by Surf. What do you say it was? Surf Bar? Yeah. And there might be one in Yukon, so I might have to check that out. But
I don't think I've ever had an acai bowl.
I haven't either. I know
acai is
one of those, isn't it one of those superfoods or something?
I don't know. I think it's just like a fruit and yogurt maybe mix. I'm not really sure. I'm not 100. I don't want to tell you wrong.
Yeah. And I would think that, I see so many Hawaiian places now that those poke bowls and stuff like that are probably pretty prominent, but I don't know. If I eat tuna, it's going to be chicken of the sea.
Oh, no way.
But anyways, so also, as we mentioned, we didn't get to really touch on it with Newt Huntley, but congratulations, Cody Thiessen and the Calumet Chieftains, as we mentioned, Class B state champions. They pull off the triple play, Luke, fall baseball, basketball, and spring baseball. That's Fort Cobb Broxton did it a couple of seasons ago, I think, when Cray Rogers was there. Man, it's quite the feat for the Class B schools to pull that off.
It is. It shows just pure athleticism by the Chieftains to be able to dominate in baseball and do the same thing in basketball. That's a two-peat in basketball. Remember that. That was their second straight basketball title. So just amazing athleticism out of Calumet.
Well, and I guess Okarche pull it off in
Okarche did the same. Okarche did the same. Okarche did the four-peat. Okarche did both baseball titles, the basketball, then 72 hours later won the boys golf title.
Oh, God. Well, I hate the Yankees and the Lakers, and there's a reason. No, I don't hate Okarche. Love their chicken up there. But yeah, man, congratulations to the Warriors. And you and I both, I think, saw them at the I-40 Classic. I called a Calumet game that was just kind of a tune-up game for both teams going into regionals. Just a really quality squad for Coach Thiessen, and also Okarche, just an amazing batch of talent they had. I'm sure there's a lot of Class A coaches that are looking forward to Jet Muggenberg taking his talents elsewhere for college or whatever.
No doubt. There's 10 seniors in that Okarche class that I know play baseball, and I think 9 of them or 8 of them are on the starting lineup. They're very, very good. And some coaches are definitely ready for Okarche graduation coming up.
I will freely admit, play-by-play for the Weatherford Eagles, I am so happy that Ritzenmeyer is graduating from the Elgin Owls, because that kid, I mean, he runs the ball, and he runs looking to hurt you when he does. I've commented so many times that he runs the ball like it's a street fight, and he's going off elsewhere. I can't even think where I want to say he might have been looking at UCO, but he needs to be going and running over college guys. I'm tired of seeing him. I'm tired of seeing him gather up yardage, on high school kids. So,
he's not just a great football athlete. He does it in track, or I don't know about track, but I know wrestling. He's a 3 or 4-time state champion in wrestling, baseball. He's an athlete.
He's a heck of a baller. And, Newt mentioned Tuttle's dominance in wrestling. I got to give a shout out to my Coweta Tigers. They went to the Tuttle Festival back in January and won that. Coweta won the 5A duels and the 5A state championship. And so Coweta, that last time they had done that was 85, when yours truly was a freshman in high school.
There you go.
Yep.
A little bit of a jog ago.
That's right. So, but Coweta Tigers with the state championship in Class 5A, probably considered one of the best teams, definitely in the state, regardless of class. But Luke, I had my heart broke Friday night. Tuesday night for Weatherford soccer. I thought the Lady Eagles would probably at least make a run to the finals. Just didn't get it done. They fell in the quarterfinals. It would have been tough for them. Oklahoma Christian School would have been their opponent had they beaten Catoosa. I guess it was last Friday. I'm sorry. My days have kind of gone back and forth. But, the great thing about Weatherford soccer and particularly on the girls' side is they have just kind of had a conveyor belt of talent rolling in from the underclasses. I mean, 2 goals, and I think you might have pulled them for power plays or for your sports. But Tess Wright, just a freshman, just scored on 2 rockets, both shots from the same spot outside the 18-yard box on the corner, and she just laced them, and just amazing goals. And then you look at it, she's a freshman. Their top goal scorer, Symphony Welsh, a junior, top defender, Marty Gregston, their center back, she's a junior. So they lose a lot of talent. A lot of that talent's going to go to SWOSU, Tori Hume, and also Kira Pratt going to the Hilltop, and then Jaden Bradley going to Southern Nazarene. But just an amazing run. There's some All-State nominations. I know All-State namings that you'll probably throw on your sports tomorrow. So just an amazing season by Weatherford. And then last night, I think you mentioned it on sports this morning, if I heard, Sallisaw had one player that basically kind of dominated the Red Tornadoes and ended their season. And you hate to see that for Coach Gene Ray, because that Clinton program, I mean, they've set a standard for themselves that is dang near impossible to live up to.
They three-peated a couple of years ago. This would have been their 4th and 6th years, and just playoff trip after playoff trip. Definitely a culture there for Clinton soccer. And I got to give a shout out to Coach Gene Ray. He's the architect of the boys side, and he has been extremely helpful to me this soccer season with interviews and just everything. So big shout out to Coach Gene Ray.
He's a good dude. And, and going back to football, that, like I said, I'm the voice of Weatherford Eagle football, but, I feel comfortable golfing at Riverside. It's not but now Marty Wandry might change that. He might have somebody threaten me. You never know. But it is one of the best rivalries in all of football in the state of Oklahoma. And it's a great one to be a part of. And I've always appreciated it. But now we'll get to see how the Hinton-Watonga rivalry fares up on Right Media next season, and then any others that are going on. But it's going to be a lot of fun. But anything else you're working on this week for Right Media Sports?
Not off the top of my head. Everything's kind of dying down.
It really has. It kind of came
working on abrupt halt, and
exactly.
So just kind of working on closing things out.
Yeah, it's that time of year. Graduation is this Friday for most of the schools on the network.
The SWOSU women's golf team is currently at the national tournament in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. So that's the one thing we got on the schedule right now that I'm following.
Okay. Well, and Coach Fleetwood, man, they have really, Freya Sala and some of those female golfers there at SWOSU have really been gamers. And, you think about it, Luke, they start in February.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they do some in the fall too.
Yeah.
Right.
They do. They do fall and spring.
And the earnest season starts in February. You think about if you sign as a D2 golfer, that I know the girls, I think, were in Florida back in February, or maybe the boys, they go to Texas and maybe Arizona. I mean, gosh, if you're good enough to go play D2, that's a pretty good collegiate experience. I mean, where are the Nationals at right now?
Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, at the PGA National Resort.
Oh gosh. So
yeah.
So if you want to play sports, work at golf. I can only imagine what the D1 schools do with an NIL, but
oh my goodness,
even to the D2, man, you're good enough to go. You get to golf at some amazing places. So, but anyways, that's going to be interesting to follow. And then, right now, I'll say this, and I keep up with a Twitter page called OK Coach Move. You know, there'll be some movement. There already has been quite a bit, but we may see some more as the school years wind down, and you know, we'll see what happens. But I think most schools probably are pretty well set.
I would say it is fun to watch the coaching carousel at the high school level. It's the exact same that you see at the the college level.
Yeah,
it's very fun to watch.
It really is. All right, so as we get out of here, exit question for you: Are you excited to see Aaron Rodgers showing up for activities with the Pittsburgh Steelers? Got another year of A-Rod?
I don't know. I kind of was hoping we'd get Kyler Murray, even though he's 4'10", but I think he might be better than a 48-year-old. So might be a rough year for Steeler football.
Just give him a moment's protection. He's still got an arm, but anyway,
he definitely does.
Steelers always going to rely on a running game and defense until they don't. So anyway, Luke Clement, have a great week, buddy. It's always glad to be on the air with you. Appreciate your time, and let's do it again here real soon.
We'll have to. I appreciate it, Chuck.
All right. He's Luke Clement, sports director for Right Media in Weatherford and Clinton, Oklahoma. I'm Chuck Ramsey, the Lawdog. This has been Western Oklahoma Sports Night. We want to thank our guest this evening, Newt Huntley from Sooner State Baseball Report, and also Tyler Riggs from K101 up in Woodward. And also be sure and follow them on social media. We'll share their links and also their content as they go along. And it is always a lot of fun to be able to keep up with them and fellowship with them when we can here on the program. 101 Classic Bowl just around the corner, so be sure and keep up with that. For me and Luke Clement, we appreciate you tuning in. Be safe out there. Don't text and drive, and sure don't drink and drive. And be sure and listen to Luke every weekday morning and Saturday mornings at 7:50 on 95.5 The Coyote, Monday through Friday at 7:40-ish on News Talk KCLI 99.3. Be careful. Talk to you soon.